Lock up tight now. Night's just getting started.
Hey everybody, this is PD from the Spin Rack. We also have
Calvin Ellis, ready to rock.
Today we talk about the sad news that we already knew that wasn't happening, was Blade is removed from the 2025 release schedule. What are your thoughts on that?
It was a long, slow death, but we saw it coming.
This ultimately, Marshall Ali, Blade, and Marvel, the hitmaker, it's called what we call in baseball an easy out. That's something that's already a success, like you have successes with Batman or Superman. It should be an easy out, right? But just like Superman Lives or Superman Returns or Man of Steel, but at least they got the movies out. Oh, look who's decided to join us. But
well, if we go with the Superman analogy, they got the movies out, but it took them 20 years because of all that development help. Whereas Blade, Blade, they just consigned him to oblivion.
And you have something that started the Marvel universe, said that the Marvel, like Howard the Duck said Marvel couldn't work. It didn't make any sense. I'm glad to see that that Michael Jackson was out there seeing that Marvel could be what Disney has made it now. And, of course, they had all the crazy stuff going on that allowed him not to get it. But he had all this planned before or Disney or Marvel did. But Blade said it could be done, even though everyone's saying all their properties are toast. And they didn't even care about the X-Men until the X-Men got successful. And let me pause this for a second. So I think it's with the actor, especially because he's tall. I'm pretty sure, he would have been a great hero, a great Blade. The problem is they tried to they try to add some things to it. But ultimately, from what I've been hearing, is that Marshall Ali was just talking to his people, trying to get the movie going. So if you're saying, oh, we got this problem with the script, I got a problem with this. Oh, no, I got someone who can work on it right now. And they're like, wait a second. What do we got? We got this, it's going to take time. That's what they're saying here. It's going to take time. We don't want to rush it. And then next thing you know, we got Predator's Badlands. We got the freaking Prey movie on the schedule at that time. They did the same thing with the Black Panther. Oh, let's put...
we don't want to rush it because we don't want to do it.
We're going to put the Spider-Man Homecoming. It does what? Maybe not even 100. Maybe it was like a 50 to 100 more than Venom. So it wasn't really that much better sales-wise. But then Black Panther comes. Not only does it do $1 billion, it does $500 million in the U.S. And they didn't know that they had something on their hands. But we know we have something on our hands with Blade. And they're going to give us this freaking Prey movie, Prey 2. I pray that that it falls apart. But what are your thoughts on that? That is clearly, this is going right in the schedule for Disney in place of Blade.
I think the issue dates back further than what they're doing here with Marshall Ali, because by the third Blade movie, they didn't want Blade as a standalone hero. They wanted to bring in these other characters. And ostensibly it was supposed to be that we want to spin off into a team, but they're making the Hollywood decision that Blade is pretty much out of gas. Let's try to, fade him out, put these guys there, and we can continue the franchise, as they've done before. The trouble is, while that was the mentality they had for the last film of the Blade trilogy, this seems that they have the same mentality for the opening film of the Blade trilogy, of the New Blade series, where they don't want him to be the sole lead. They want to have all these other guys running around, and that's not really a Blade movie. They don't want to do Blade. They want to do Midnight Suns. but that's not a Blade movie.
Well, I would go one step further than that, only because you just mentioned it. I hadn't thought about it before. I hadn't thought about this in a while. Is that they just wanted the buzz? They just wanted to show off this person,
You
have
think
some
so?
buzz. I'm just saying, you don't, you don't get the actor that you want for it. It's seemingly perfect for it. Outside of Wesley Snipes, Wesley Snipes would be still my number one. But I'm saying if you're gonna go, obviously you're gonna want to update, do something new. But the only idea they have is Blade teaching his daughter all these characters that we don't know, as you were saying, to join the fun. So the next thing you have your Avengers and you have your young Avengers. So I'm like, I just need a Blade movie, and you figure what locale or what place would be interesting and new to have the fights. Because I mean, the first two movies, the start, was updated and cool for vampires. The second one gave us a whole different locale and went to Prague and all this other stuff and cool fighting. One of the first early movies that really used the digital stuff, before Spider-Man really got in there and was doing the web slinging and whatnot. So you have something that has some history, and you can just, you just want to, and gave you all the conventions of what the movie is, and using this, silver and the blade, all the stuff that doesn't relate to the to the vampires, and it still worked. So it's just like, I just feel like they are more interested in the buzz around it, and because I don't know, it really is a shame for it to be 2019, all this other stuff come out, and we haven't even talked about. Well, I can just point it out here. Talked about the Armor Wars. People felt that was on the shelf. That was going forever, and now the writer's saying, no, the movie's still going. This is the Iron Man they want. This is the actor that they want, right? Way better than Don Cheadle, right? Look what they're doing to him. Oh, he's over time made more than the Don Cheadle for his 1 million a movie. Well, look at this. He was he was a co-star in the Secret Invasion, and now we can't do another easy out. The thing is, Iron Man was a second tier character. As well as great as they wrote him, as many classic stories, Demon in the Bottle, classic runs with Bob Layton, David Michelini, all these things, he wasn't a big success. He was a long-standing character that wasn't in danger of cancellation, but the Armor Wars was so big, they forced him to use Armor Wars 2 for another story that no matter what it is, just needs to be called Armor Wars, because they knew they had a hit in the name in Armor Wars. And now you got this, even though the first movie kind of dealt with some of the Armor Wars stuff, but then you can get since they do so many different armor things, you can bring out some of the other characters that we haven't seen yet. We've seen Ironmonger, but we can see a whole bunch of other characters for Rhodey to fight. But are they ready for Rhodey to do all this fighting?
No.
Why is this happening to the black movies? I gotta ask it.
You know why.
Hey, look who's here. Our partner in crime, Mars. Wait, let's go back
Don't
to
give
Blade.
me that crap.
Our partner in crime. Hey,
Don't give me that crap. What are we talking about here,
we're
bro?
talking about Blade. What do you feel about
So
it?
what are we doing with Armor Wars if we're talking about Blade?
He was using it as a reference. It was an example.
Yeah. So the backtrack, Blade has been removed from the schedule, and Predator is in the schedule around that time. What do you?
What does Predator have to do with a Marvel movie?
They're both from the same company, and the release date is now, that's in its release date.
But it's a different studio, though. I mean, they might as well just say, "What about Star Wars?" Right?
Can you just answer the question? Can you just answer the question?
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to get an understanding of the basis here. Look,
Look, Deadline said it. I didn't say it.
If
Deadline put it.
What happened to Blade is good. I'm going to say no. Of course not. It kind of sucks because they've been basically stringing Mahershala Ali along for forever, basically, right? And that's not cool. We've had different permutations of of scripts, directors, and even how the movie's going to be. I mean, he was promised to be what, the lead? Am I correct? He was
Of
promised to
course,
have
he
a
was
solo
promised
movie.
to lead. He had the hat on with the name Blade.
Right, and now all of a sudden it's like it's turning into a team project, a Midnight Suns project with other people. So I mean, yo, you got to understand he's probably upset. Yeah, he got paid, but yo, you know, his career has been frozen for the last 3-4 years, basically waiting for this thing to kick off, right?
You're only good as your last project.
Right. So I mean, what is he going to do? I mean, he's now he won an Oscar, and he's basically been put on a shelf. That's what it sounds like. Development hell, right? That's what Hollywood does. Yeah, we'll do your movie. Don't worry about it, and then just put it on the shelf. And who knows when it's going to happen? And then on top of that, you have Ryan Reynolds saying, "Hey, let's do a Blade movie with the original Blade, Wesley Snipes."
Well,
right?
that I didn't even think about it that way. That kind of hurt this Blade, that because you already have dissension now, and I'm all for Wesley Snipes coming back to the project, but it only helps Marvel to delay the Blade project they have. So if you say, yeah, we're interested, then that delays it even more, and it might the one with Wesley could less than the chance of making it happen.
So I mean, do you think did Marvel kill it, or did he just say, yo, I'm not dealing with this crap anymore? You know?
I think he said he's out.
Yeah, I think he
which would effectively kill it. So
right, but I'm saying but Marvel still having not a good direction, and Marvel not having things done. He probably is like, yo, they're never going to get my stuff off the ground. What? Look, you know, when you get a movie presented, they don't say, hey, we're going to just give it to you. They probably have an idea or a couple of ideas they want to give you. So Bo DeMaio said he had like a script written already for 1 or 2 Blade films, and he also had like another 4 or 5 ideas that he kicked around, and those were all shot down basically, you know. And Bo DeMaio is the guy who did X-Men '97, which was popular, which was liked quite a lot. Unfortunately, he was kicked off of that project.
I'm saying you don't even have to factor the kicked out part, because that was before he was still involved with Marvel,
right,
all the way through. So it was not like they were kicking him out and turning down those projects. He was well in bed with Marvel at that time. But
no, I didn't want to diss. I just want to make sure we have, because we're gonna get comments like, "Hey, Bo DeMaio."
We don't have to worry about those comments. There's not enough of those people to worry about right now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. But yeah, he said he was on that project. So, and he had some ideas that some seemed pretty interesting. But why didn't they push it forward? Did they not have confidence? Are we back to what, Ike Permulator? Back with Marvel, where he's not strong, he doesn't think a black character is going to be able to hold it down.
Now it's not. Ike is not involved. You can't.
I know.
You can't throw Ike in there anymore. People still throwing Ike in there. You can't throw him in there. You have Feige, so Feige doesn't.
I am saying, is it like Ike this time? What's going on? They don't have.
Feige is the new Ike. He doesn't want the black character. He's not interested in Shang-Chi. I'm going too far.
Yeah, I think you're going way too far, especially with our resume, and I don't think we want to be pissed off.
Keep going.
Okay, so no, I don't think that's it. I just don't think that they saw.
Don't stop. Keep going.
Oh yeah, see, this is crazy. That's what I went. I jumped to. You said this. You want to know how? That's how I got here. We got here because we have another project with a black lead. This is the what's the name? The roadie that they wanted. The Academy nominee or Academy Award winner, Don Cheadle. He's in Fight Night, that's successful on Peacock, and now look at him. They don't even know. He said, I don't know what's going on with that. And then next thing you know, you have the writer saying, oh yeah, it is happening. Oh, it is happening. But we don't know that it's happening. It's another thing that's on the shelf. Oh, as you just said, development hell. So now tell me it isn't black. When are we going to see Shang-Chi? They're not interested in that. They got a whole Iron Heart on the shelf, literally, the whole season. And thankfully, it might need to be up there, but still, it works into the black thing.
All right, look, I mean, we haven't seen Ironheart, but we do know the way Disney TV has been going. Disney Plus, and some of the shows that they've been pushing on right now. So it's definitely not been shows made for the general audience, right? It's been after a particular audience they wanted to bring in, probably because they saw there's more money to make off of this particular audience, and they say, hey. And
what money have they made off of it?
All along, okay?
Has it made any money?
Take a look at, these are the shows that whoever was making those decisions decided, like, hey, we're going to do this, But, of course, when we sent in the resume and we gave our plan of what we think could be, no one listened to us, right? So, Feige, listen to us now. We are willing to come in there and help wreck the shop, bring things back in order, and tell you what needs to be done. Tell them, Cal.
What are you talking about?
He's saying we can do it right if they talk to us with our resume, and we could switch them to do the right thing instead of.
So I heard all of that. I just didn't think I heard all of that. I didn't think he was serious. But yeah,
I'm serious like the plague, baby. All right, we will be able to get things running right now. Okay.
Hey, look, we
down
can easily do it.
Goes.
I know Petey's already got that script, so we could just like leash that on at the same time. Just come over here, stop treating us like secondhand stepchildren, and we could definitely help you out for a nominal fee.
Of course. See, that's what I like. The capitalist in you is finally coming out. Sometimes I have my doubts, but yeah, I like that. Once you put down the nominal fee.
They're not going to accept my Spider-Man that's not going to be beating everybody up all the time. I'm going to the Romita/Ditko period. I'm going back to there, but he might be in the 20s still.
As long as he wins in the third act, no one is going to care about that. All right?
No, you can't do anything without the Spider Sense. We were joking about it with some friends the other day, but we're going to get back to here. It's really messed up that they have these projects that seem to be easy. Like someone was referencing the Armor Wars in reference to the multiverse, and the multiverse has nothing to do with the Armor Wars. It's the most successful Iron Man story before whatever happened with Marvel. I'm not sure if they've had any stories with Iron Man that have been more successful post. Somebody's TV's in the background I can hear.
It's not I, Popeye.
So
let me mute. I'm gonna mute for a second.
All right, cool.
Look, I mean, hey, I agree with you, but this, they keep complaining. Oh, the whole thing with the multi universe, whatever. But they keep putting it down. They keep going down that road. I mean, look what happened in Deadpool. They had it there. It was prominent. Yeah, they're supposedly killing it, but they're probably going to do something like that in Secret Wars too. I mean, no matter what they say, they want to get away from this. They seem to be doubling down. They're just not calling it anymore, right?
It seems like they put everything into the one bag. Now we get less superhero stuff, and now they say we need quality over quantity, and now we're getting even less stuff.
Exactly,
which is not good at all for me.
Well, some people are saying it's superhero fatigue. Is it, or is it people are just not getting what they want, or people are not interested in it?
I'm on the not getting what we want. They also know when you go into them trying to target a certain audience. So they're saying the audience, we've seen that the Black Panther is successful. We're not going to recast the lead Black Panther. We're going to go with another female-centered group of stuff, which you can listen to all the old shows, how much I was asking for them to get the Captain Marvel thing, not keep pushing it back. And they pushed it back because they had to do it. They had to do it after Infinity War. I'm like, oh, this is a back in the day story. They didn't have to do it back then at that point. So I was all for it. I didn't know it was going to become the entire thing. I didn't know that the cast from Agatha all along would say this is the gayest Marvel thing out since the last one that was the gayest thing. So it was like, I didn't know it was going to go this route. I'm not sure about this thing. And that's me repeating what the actors said about it. So, yeah.
When we talk about Agatha, and we're all watching it, so we're not going to deny we're not watching it, right? But
we have to watch it to review it.
Are we happy to watch it? I don't think so. Are we welcoming it? No, I don't think so. I think that, again, I go back to who did decide they wanted to do this for? That's basically it. And did they execute it? I don't think they did. But then again, we're in an age that I think we are pushing everything back now, especially since we had the pandemic. I think that people now are having a higher level of standards of what they want to go out and watch and pay for, right? That's my take on it. And people are counting with their eyeballs for Disney Plus and other superhero movies. People are counting with their and people are buying their money from movie theaters.
You can't. The thing is, you can say all that stuff, but movies have already gone through this up and down thing. When the TV was a tube, and the big ones would blow out, and it'd be sitting in your house or sitting in my house, because it literally was in my house, blown out, not working. And people found a way to start going to the blockbuster movies. Because before the blockbuster movies were close to out of here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can survive that, just saying you have all these options at home, you know, you had your options at home with the TV schedule. You didn't even have reruns early on in that period. Those came, I guess in the 70s you definitely had reruns. So, but you know, you had the same amount of options of watching a bunch of stuff. It was just on a schedule rather than you pick out and press the button. But the movie experience itself is well, no, you mean as a family, a person with a family, it's easier to do that stuff and be at home and not have to spend, you know, an arm and a leg. So that's all for it. But at the same time, you had this boom during the time you still had Netflix. You had other streaming service starting to come out before this stuff happened, and Marvel was a huge success. It wasn't dying out. You had the pandemic, yes, but at the same time, you still had some success. You had Oppenheimer, which shouldn't have been a movie that blew up, but it did well, right? It hit well. So you can, if you give them something that they want to see, they'll go out to see it. But the thing of it is resting on the fact that, hey, they got streaming. They can't get the streaming right. We keep having to fall back on Falcon and Winter Soldier as the good show, and we were okay with WandaVision, right? That's the thing. They don't want to do any more She-Hulk. What else what other wins do they got? They turned Loki. I don't even want to.
I think Oppenheimer was I think that's an exception because it's Christopher Nolan. It's like when you had a movie by.
He marketed himself with Barbie to sell the movie.
Right, he did, and I'm not. And I think that worked.
You can figure that how to market yourself with Barbie. They can.
Did he or did the DC people did that? I don't think he was particularly happy to be connected with Barbie.
They didn't want another bomb. They didn't want I'm okay with Tenet, but they didn't want something of his to fail because he had a bunch of movies planned that weren't going to be getting the backing. So he needed another success, and they got it. They told us that we needed to go see Barbie and Oppenheimer, which don't go together. But the news, it was old school marketing. They hadn't done that in years. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, I'm not sure. No, I mean, I'm with you what you said before. But
are you holding
Nolan was a big part of that. I think
are you holding Marvel accountable for not getting what I call it's an easy A, it's an easy out, it's an easy movie to do. You had a success.
Blade.
Yeah. Are you got to hold them to the hot coals? Are you not doing that?
I'm not holding none of them to especially not until after we get the approval with the resume. But I will say that could they have executed it better? Yes. Should they have been able to do this in a regular?
Execute what? They didn't get it out. This is
what I'm trying to say is that could they have done this movie? Probably they could. This movie didn't have to be done at a $200 million level, right? Did this movie have to be done at a $150 million level? I think this movie could have definitely been done at around $100 million, right? I just don't know what else they're planning. The problem with Marvel is that they have like 15 different connections. Like, well, this has to connect to this, and this has to connect to that, and the story is there. It's like when we had the Eternals. They have him talking in the background. You know, you sure about that? When the Black Knight's about to touch the blade, right? You're like, wait a second, why is Blade with the Black Knight in the Eternals? Why is he even speaking?
Because Blade is a black guy, and what's the name has an ebony blade. So they have the Black Knight with the ebony blade, and Blade is a black guy with a blade. So it's kind of like
I thought it was because they were in Midnight Suns together.
No, they weren't.
Some direction.
They were not in no Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns. They were no Midnight Suns together. No, that never happened. It's that stupidity. It's like with the Black Panthers running around with the ebony blade, even though he has no connection to it whatsoever. Like, no, the ebony blade belongs to the Black Knight. Blade uses a sword, but he's just black. And if you just really want to get down to the basics of it, it's like, hey, black guy with the sword, ebony blade. It's just stupid. That's all that is.
So
Yes.
The
So then,
biggest thing is that, look, we saw this with Black Panther when they decided not to recast. When they decided not to recast with Black Panther, we were getting a preview of their commitment to having black men as leads in these movies. Okay, Black Panther was the start. Blade doesn't get his movie. They're over here looking at Shang-Chi saying he's black enough. We're not going to ever see him again. This is what we can expect.
yeah, I mean, I just.
You just what? What? What are you
you
going to say?
agree?
I agree. I'm just saying. No, I'm not disagreeing with you, Cal. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Trying to weasel your way out of it.
I don't know how to. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't think that cameo should have ever happened in the first place. That's all I'm saying. Or voiceover, right?
Or the announcement.
I thought
the announcement with the hat shouldn't have happened until they knew it was going to happen.
Well, I think they thought it was going to happen, but I'm saying that whole connection with the Eternals, the whole thing with the Black Knight made no sense. And Cal pointed, you know, it don't make no damn sense.
You were trying to say that they don't need to do anything for Blade. They don't need to say, hey, we need to establish Blade. Like, ultimately, right now they have the, what's the name? They have the Disney Channel. They could just put out the movies and say, hey, we're gonna have Wesley Snipes do a night. We're gonna show all three of them. We're gonna talk about it, and then that's gonna be the lead. And it's the same thing they did for the Wrath of Khan. Like, you should make everyone know that, hey, you can trust this. We're putting out the Space Seed. Watch the Space Seed at 8 o'clock, and then what's the name? The Wrath of Khan is gonna happen. So it was like kind of a tie-in that happened at the same time. So you hadn't seen Space Seed, you got to watch it, and then the movie came out at the same time. But they have a whole channel that they could do whatever they want. And they have 3 channels. They got a Hulu. They could do whatever they want with this to kind of tell if they needed to give you a precursor.
Yeah, but
Blade.
You're downgrading it from a movie to a TV movie? Nah, I don't know.
No, I didn't say TV movie. I said that you're cross-marketing. You're doing something
Okay.
where you know the other movies and say you need a precursor that's going to be killing vampires. We're saying we're Marvel. That's what people believe. Somehow when you're with Marvel, it's going to be a whole lot better. You know, people are now walking in and saying, oh, okay, you know, the best Spider-Man movie is, you know, not even I'm sorry to say the best Spider-Man movie is still Spider-Man 2, and it's not even my favorite. My favorite are the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but 2 has all the Spider-Man elements that you need for a Spider-Man film. So other people can do these movies. They can get this done. You can do a good movie. It's not just Marvel, but Marvel should be doing a good Blade. We think of them. I bring up the point to say we think of them doing the right thing, and they should be able to do a good Blade.
And they squandered it. No, and then when they squandered it, where are we right back to now? Because what Marvel did, whether they like it or not, is they took comic book movies and made these things not just enjoyable, but stuff that they could take seriously. Where actors were like, yeah, I want to be attached to these projects. These are popular. People love them. No problem. Now, the way that they're going, we're going to be right back where we were in the 80s and the 90s. Oh, this is stupid stuff. But these niche nerds over here, okay, and all we got to do is just put some Easter eggs in here. These guys will go over there and have their geekgasm at the end of the day. And then hopefully we at the very least, hopefully we can double this budget so we don't throw all the money away. That's where we're back at right now. Nobody thinks these things are worth anything anymore.
And
Thank you, Cal.
I don't appreciate you guys
on the same page as me.
I don't appreciate you guys leaving me out on a limb, me complaining about Agatha all alone and going to the subject matter. No one was behind me, so I'm all out on a limb. So when they cancel it, I'm going to be canceled by myself.
No, I agree. Agatha all along is gay.
That's all I need.
Agatha all along is gay. No problem.
All I'm saying is that
I just needed someone else to go down with me.
Yeah, Cal can go. I'm just saying that it's
no
that
problem.
show. I don't know.
I'm with you on that one. That show is gay.
The subject matter is not. Look, I said it before. You are in the business of making movies and TV shows. Who the hell are you going to sell this to outside the U.S. and probably Western Europe? This show ain't going anywhere. You know what I'm trying to say? If your sole money is
you talking about Agatha? Yeah, say Agatha.
Yeah, say it.
Stop coughing.
Who's going to
Yeah.
buy it? They're not
Say her
buying
name.
it in Asia. They're not buying it in the Middle East. They're not buying it in Africa. They're not buying it in Eastern Europe. So who the hell are you selling this damn thing to? If it's just for the Americans, it's like leaving money on the table and say, "Hey, take it as it is." You know, come on, man. We are movie making money. This is a money business, man.
All right, I'm going to go to that point. Now, Marvel seems to be trying to make their audience, right? But so many times people have said, hey, we can't get these black movies out to the overseas because they don't buy. And they're buying Kevin Hart stuff. They bought the Black Panther, right? But
They bought Shang-Chi.
They bought Shang-Chi, thank you. So now
you're not going to ever see him again.
But they keep trying to make
Secret Wars.
They're trying to make the audience. Oh God!
What did he say?
He said Secret Wars. Then to show up for one scene and do the ring, shing. He's gonna be in there for one. If the Russos aren't involved, they are the ones that really understand. I think from more so Infinity War than anything else. And I guess I can say most of the separate scenes of Civil War. They understand how to do timing with characters. So if they're there, hopefully, the heroes are gonna be fighting. There's no villains to fight. So the Secret Wars are the heroes fighting each other. All right. I pass. I can't even talk about Secret Wars anymore.
Well, I'm gonna give you a basic breakdown on okay, they're going to make a Blade movie, but it's going to be a Deadpool Blade or Deadpool Wolverine Blade movie. That's how they're going to do this. It's going
that's not a Blade movie. That's not a Blade movie.
I know,
Sorry.
but I'm just saying this is how they're going to sell it. So Ryan Reynolds is going to say, "Hey, we got to send Blade off in a glory, and we have to do a proper movie." And the studio's going to say, "Nah, man, we don't want to put all that money up there." But he said, "Hey, you know what? Why don't you make it part of the whole Deadpool Wolverine thing? Bring him in as like the third character, three amigos, and he goes out in the blaze of glory or whatever." Yeah, let's do that. Guess what? That's even better. We don't have to do our other movie with Ali. We can just do this here.
I don't think Ryan Reynolds said anything like that. This sounds like the script you pitched to me the other day. I don't think this is happening.
I think
Ryan Reynolds is pitching a Deadpool movie. I mean, not Deadpool.
He's pitching Wesley doing it. I know he's been saying that, but at the same time, ultimately, this is the thing. When people wake up and decide to say, you know what, no one was deader than a doornail, Batman. Batman was deader than a doornail before 1989. And then that movie said, oh, wow, they thought that, hey, all this stuff was added to the character. Body armor, dark, gothic location, him being, violent and, that sort of thing. The fans went in thinking they added all that to the Adam West character when it's already in the comics, and comic people had to say, only thing missing is the one on the TV was the greatest detective, and this one, he has some. He kind of looked up the early version of Google to find some things to stop the thing, but he wasn't really doing heavy detective work. And couldn't find the location of the Joker when he's in he's in the only place he could be. But with that said, these things, you come to them and say, here's what the Blade movies made for the time it made, right? These were successful, right? We didn't know it was going to make this. Wesley Snipes was a successful actor, but he was the one, selling the movie. Him and Stan, they were going out selling this movie. They ultimately got it done. It was success. We went the wrong way, giving the project to the writer. We thought the writer was the guy, and the writer gave us what we wanted, a group movie with Dracula, and it failed. But we listened to Patton Oswalt, and he told us that no, it was Wesley Snipes. But the character works. So we get an actor in there, we put him in there, we do the same thing. This is what sequels are. They do the same thing over. They don't need to sit around and say, what are we going to do next? We did everything in there. No, here's another Batman movie that's even darker and more realistic than the last Batman movie in '89. We're just going to do it over. Oh, Batman's been away for a little while. Let's do another Batman. Like, come on. They didn't know it was going to be a success. Now, so Blade, make it happen. No, it's too late now. They're not making it happen. It will be another 20 years. We won't be around when they decide to finally do this.
All right. So look, I know I'm going to tell you guys something. I know you guys are going to hate because you guys always love to hate. All right. So Blade came out in 1998, the first one, right?
Yes.
Right in 1998. All three movies combined cost $164 million to make. It made almost $420 million, right? The first movie cost 45, the last one 65. So of course you see the budget going up. They can't seem to make a superhero movie right now in Marvel for less than $150 million, right? Because for some odd reason, no matter what they do, it just is not going to work. Now, that
you're not trying to sell it on having a $50 million movie, right? Because you know that
hold up. What I'm just trying to get to is that the movies averaged around, or back then, 130 to 100, around 100. The most 150 was the second one. The third one was 130. So 130 million. That's how much they made. You know, the third one. But guess what came out right after Blade? It took over the vampire series.
Well,
Underworld. Right? The Underworld movies actually made a little bit less per. They averaged between like 95 to 100, and the highest was 160. The lowest was 81 million, and they cost starting 22 million to 35 million, so a total of 207 million for all four movies, and they made a $540 million. So, if the movie is made within a certain budget, you can do it. Marvel seeded the whole vampire to Underworld, and Underworld got up there and took off with it, you know? And I'm saying there is a market for vampires, just alone, whether it's Blade or what, there's a market for it. And we've seen it in other, you know, and I'm just saying, all I'm just trying to say is that if you just look at the numbers, you know, you have two vampire series between them that made almost $1 billion, right? And why can't we get this thing going properly? That's it. It's not hard. Vampires are not hard to do. You got one group who loves to drink blood and kill people. You got another group who wants to kill them. Simple as that.
One guy that wants to kill him.
Well, and in the Underworld is one girl who wants to kill him. Or one woman, excuse me. All I'm just saying is that this is not a hard movie. We want to see people killing vampires.
Underworld is taking Blade and saying, I'm going to give Blade a family. I'm going to do it with a girl. I'm put a chick in it and make sure she's hot.
Yeah, and Underworld is vampires versus werewolves. It's not quite the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying the general vampire genre. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm not trying to be exact. I'm just trying to say, hey, I think that there is an audience for this. I think the audience needs to be brought in. But if probably Marvel looks at the thing and says, hey, you know, we can't do $150 million or $200 million for a superhero movie, you know?
Why not? They'll do it if Chris Evans was coming back. They did. Christian Bale, I don't know that he was exactly a name. I know he was a name as far as the independent things going on movies. But the thing is saying Batman is the property. Batman might have failed miserably in Batman and Robin, but they're like, we're putting the person we think is the guy, the director, and he picked the actor. Seemed like he was short, but he was pretty good in Batman.
He was short.
And at the same time, his voice was terrible, but at the same time, they had some good things going for it, right? And it made into The Dark Knight, which was one of the most successful Batman movies after that, with the bad voice. So the thing is, the Batman was the property at that point, right? So at the same time, when they were trying to do, we talked about earlier with Superman, they said, hey, Kevin Smith's the guy, he's talking about comic books. We need to get a Superman movie. Get that guy. And then they started that ball rolling. And then, of course, the reasons for the other William Callis told them many times. But at the same time, the property sometimes is the success. So you don't have to say, how do we make it cheaper than the last ones? It's like, this is a property that just needed to go on the shelf like so many other franchises. Instead of you go in there and you say, well, it's a black movie. It doesn't have a franchise. We can't think of it that way. Now we have to think of how to resell it. No, you say it was a franchise. It was successful. It brought so many other things through the Blade movies, not only the superheroes, characters that we didn't think would get made because Guillermo del Toro went to do the Hellboy stuff and did 2 Hellboy movies. So there was branches from the Blade thing that happened. And Goyer's been doing superhero movies since then. That's his start, right? And he's had some, but he had a misstep before Blade, and he had Blade Trinity, which was a big misstep, and they still started getting things. So all these other people and properties have been able to succeed post Blade. Not even just the whole superhero genre saying it's still here, it's still going. Say, and Marvel, which we said earlier was deader than a doornail since the Howard the Duck, is finally hit. Finally had something that was successful. So you have something as a franchise that was just dormant, and you're just saying, hey, what about a new Blade movie? Like, that's one thing. Wake up, hey, what about a new Ghostbusters movie? The Ghostbusters with the women tanked. And they say, okay, let's do it with kids now. But we have the original Ghostbusters with them. And, you know, like, they got two movies out of it? Maybe they're going for a third one? So this is a dormant franchise. So what do you do with dormant franchise? Someone wakes up and says, hey, we got money for it. And Marvel's like, no, we got money for it to do something else.
Aliens. Right? Aliens is a dormant franchise, and they're bringing that back. Aliens is a dormant franchise, and they're bringing that back. Predator, they did Prey, and that was successful. Right?
I don't know why you're capping for Prey. You know that they sold the time. So it says it here. I'm going back to Variety.
Well, Prey. No, hold on a second. I don't know how successful Prey was because Prey went straight to Hulu.
Right, but I'm saying on TV, it did, on Hulu said that was one of their highest rated shows when they first came out. So
what does that mean? We don't know what their ratings are.
I can only tell you what they said, bro. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm with you, Cal. You know what I'm trying to say? It could mean 5 people instead of 4 people saw. Who knows?
It could mean, what's the name? It was Shakur Stevens who fought on ESPN. They said the highest ESPN numbers, and the people said ESPN is free.
Well, you gotta have cable to have ESPN, right? Bleacher Report.
It's a part of the program. You can get ESPN unless you get the Disney plan with ESPN. You can
they have. Yeah, I have that. No, I don't even look at it. I gotta take a look at that. So, I mean, so gentlemen, let's just wrap this up. Overall, we are not happy with this the way this whole thing happened with the Blade situation. We think Blade should have had its own movie. We think Blade should, and it would have been successful. And we think that Marvel, you know, Feige has been led down the road by dark forces, and we're here to help you. So please pick up the resume, and we will come in and help you set things right. Cal, back it up, baby.
We're more than willing to help for a nominal fee.
I like that. Capitalist in you. Petey, back that up.
I'm backing it up, but if they somehow, if you look at this picture that Billie Eilish gets a major role before Blade comes out, that's like, hey, we can't make this movie without doing Billie Eilish. If we can't do that.
Why in the world would Billie Eilish be part of the film anyways?
She's stylish. Black top tee, big t-shirt, Billie. I had to do it. Sorry. But that's a rumor. I'm not sure it's true. But I back you up. I would love to just direct them to say, hey, do a sequel. Do a sequel, and you got the talent. He's tall. He can do action. He can do stuff. Let's just have fun with it. Let's put it out there and you just need to make money right now. You bought all this stuff, and you need to make money with it. You're doing the Predator. But Predator things kind of can wane off if the stories aren't there. You're doing sort of the same subject matter. And if this girl is even more skilled than she was in the last one, we're in big trouble. We don't need to see. Yeah, we're in huge trouble if she's more skilled than the last movie. I've been waiting for him to come. I've taken a lot of his weapons, and now I can use them better than they can.
They're going to do a sequel, and it's going to be the same girl in the movie?
We have to look that up. We're going to do another episode on that. So we're going to look that up and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, that's a killer.
Well, I guess it goes back to where Hulu said it was a successful show, a successful movie. So, right? So that's why they're saying, because they got a lot of criticism, like, hey, why didn't you go straight for movie? People always talk, Monday morning quarterback. You know what I'm trying to say?
Because all the other ones they kept missing. They had the writer come back, that one missed. They missed so many times. Yeah, they're just putting this thing. They putting this prayer. We got to talk about this later. Take us out of here.
Hey, thank you everybody. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Okay, and long live Blade. Spin a rock.
Wow.